Hi, my name is Sir Jackson and this is Authentic Dialogue, a show where we have authentic chats about conversations you and I would rather avoid. Welcome. If you leave your house and just take a stroll with no specific place you're going to, you cannot then come around and say, hey, I'm lost. Why? Because being lost means you know where you came from, you have a place you're going to. And because you're not anywhere near where you're going to, then you say, hey, I'm lost. But if you're just loitering, that's exactly what you're doing. You're loitering. There's nothing to track. There's nothing to measure. This is true about a leisure afternoon, but it is true about every other thing in life. As we continue with our series about Thinking Like a Parasite, where we are looking at secrets about nailing our transitions through the lens of masters of transition, also known as parasites, we are at letter T. I would encourage you to look at the previous videos for you to know what we have covered from letter P all the way to I, and today we are at letter T. T stands for tracking. Parasites are brilliant. The more I studied them, and as a parasitologist, the more I was in awe. Parasites are so brilliant, they know where exactly they are. They use biochemical indicators to tell them where exactly they are, and what is beautiful about them is when they know where they are, it makes them respond a certain way. So they know when to unleash their hooks to attach. They know when to put out their suckers to stick in. Why? Because they track their progress. They track where they are at. In fact, one of the parasites, the filarial worms that gives people what we call elephantiasis, has a ability to move up and down within the blood vessels depending on whether it's night or whether it is day. It has a way of tracking and moves closer to the skin during the night, moves deeper into the tissues during the day. Very interesting bit. But it is interesting that this ability of them to track and respond accordingly has been key at helping them nail their transition. And when you look outside of life, individuals who have the ability to track are also the individuals or institutions that are able to nail their transitions properly. At times we are quick to give up on our transitions because of a failure to track. We think we are so far in the dark when really we are really close to the door. So tracking is important. When I do my coaching, I tell my coaching clients that you cannot be able to improve something that you cannot confront. You cannot improve something that you're not able to count. So two things are important for anything that you want to change. One is you should be able to confront it. So if, for instance, you're struggling or you need to transition from being an addict to becoming one who's clean from whichever addiction, you need to confront and say, hey, you know what? I have this addiction. It could be to money, it could be to some form of lust, it could be to some power or something like that. It's called confronting. But then number two, you are not able to change anything you're not able to count. So if I'm struggling with tobacco, I need to be able to count and say, I did 2 cigarettes yesterday, today I have done no cigarette. And that measure is helping you to track your progress. So anything you're not able to count or anything you're not able to confront, you're not able to change. And so tracking is going to be important for any person or any institution who's going through a transition because it helps them confront the realities, but it also helps them measure the progress. In modern times, we have adopted what we call the triple bottom line of measuring any effort that people put. And normally the triple bottom line has to do with people, planet, process, okay? But when it comes to thinking like a parasite, I think we need a 4-way bottom line. We need to measure people, we need to measure power, we need to measure planet, and we need to measure purpose. 4 P's that need to be measured: people, planet, purpose, and power. And without bogging you down with the nitty-gritties, I want to give a lens on how to think about these 4 things. People who nail their transitions very well, from my experience in coaching and just borrowing also from my experience as a parasitologist, think about these 4 things in a very interesting way. Number 1, when you're thinking about people, for you, are people used or are people partnered with? When you think about the people working with you in your transition, when you're thinking about the people you want to impact through your transition, are they just people that are used or are they people you partner with? Now, people who approach others as individuals to be used and not people to be partnered with do not make very good transition partners, neither do they make the best of success within their transitions. All your transitions will either involve or impact other people. And so if your approach to people is all about how can you use, if you're more of a getter than you are thinking of how to partner and give value, then your transition experience will not be the most pleasant or necessarily the most impactful or successful. So first thing you need to track is people. Am I using them or am I partnering with them? Number 2 is power. What's your attitude towards power during a transition? Is power something merely to be gained as an end, or for you is power the product of how you've been able to carry yourself through a transition? So individuals who navigate transitions seeking power as an end in and of itself end up having what we call a body count. Individuals and institutions they have ruined along the process. But individuals who view power as the product of steady, integrity-led kind of processes end up not only gaining power, but they also end up extending that power because people end up trusting them with that power, and the power in their hands is then responsibly used. So the second P you need to keep track of during your transitions is power. How am I gaining it and how am I using it? If you make power just the end in and of itself, then it becomes potential recipe for damage. So people, are they partnered or are they used? Power, is it the end or is it the process? Is it something that just I end up gaining at the end of the day? 3 is planet, or what we call place. And as you're going through your transition, you need to ask yourself, are my decisions putting me at a place that is a stronghold where I'm able to best contribute, where I'm able to best live and serve what I'm put on the earth to do? Or am I, the way navigating my transition, putting myself at a place of disadvantage, just going through merely surviving and not thriving? So you need to begin asking yourself, hey, the places I'm creating, the places I'm collaborating, the places I am positioning myself through my choices in my transition, am I placing myself in strongholds, or am I putting myself at a position of disadvantage for myself, or creating more positions of disadvantage for other people? Place. Am I creating strongholds or am I creating more loopholes? And finally is purpose. Throughout your transitions, you need to be asking yourself, if you put purpose at the center, are the decisions and the moves I'm making during my transition drawing me closer and enhancing my purpose, or are they taking me away and weakening my resolve to follow my God-given purpose? Am I giving glory to God through my pursuit of my transitions, or am I just bringing glory to myself? So is purpose being enhanced and being served, or is purpose being weakened and diminished? Is a purpose for which this institution, this project was established to begin with, is it being served and being accentuated, or is it being weakened and being decayed through the steps and through the decisions we are making through our purpose, our transition? If we keep track of those 4 paradigms during our transition, we, like the parasites, can be able to stay on track and be able to reach a place not just of being effective, but being exactly what this entire series is being effective, that our presence makes a difference. As one of my friends says, if your absence does not make an impact, then your presence made no difference. And parasites are able to make that difference because they keep track of where they are. People, process, planet, and purpose. How are you doing in these 4 domains? How are you keeping track, and have you lost track of? Let's keep the conversation going. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're struggling. Let me know what's clear to you. Let me know what's unclear about this, and let's keep this conversation going. By you having your comments down here, it will be helpful. And yes, stay locked on the channel, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. And yes, think like a parasite.